Welcome to Search for Signs. My name is Gary Willing. If this information interests you, please press the like and subscribe button and press the bell for notifications. Remember the 5th of November. I hope everybody is doing well out there. And welcome to Search for Signs. Now, if this is your first time ever listening to this channel, I do want to thank you and welcome you, of course. Stay as long as you want, come and go as you please. We got about 300 or so videos about Maitreya and the Masters of Wisdom, about his priorities. That's what we talk about on this channel. Kind of tie it into what's going on today and what it means for all of us. Now, if you are coming up on this information for the first time, don't really know what I'm talking about, well, that's okay, because if you want, and it's totally up to you to do your own research on this, in the description of each video is links. I got several links. I don't even know how many I have, but a lot. Take you to different sources that you can kind of do your own background information and look up this stuff on your own. Now, if you want to as well, I post background videos on this from time to time. My latest one I posted was on the 9th of October, and I kind of talk a little bit more in depth about Maitreya and the Masters of Wisdom, who and what a master is, who and what Maitreya is, for that matter. All right, so, and then of course, if you have spent time on this channel before, even commented, I do want to thank you. Perhaps a little differently than those who have never heard this information before, I want to thank you for taking one for the team, because you have exhibited a tremendous amount of patience with yours truly, because you have endured, oh my God, awful humor just to get a bit more information about all this. So just imagine all the negative karma you're burning off having to endure all the dad jokes that I throw your way. So congratulations, you're doing great. Now, real quick, I do want to say this. Within every religion, the teacher has promised to return. So the Christ, of course, are awaiting the Christians are awaiting the Christ. The Muslims are awaiting the Imam Mahdi. The Hindus are awaiting Sri Krishna or the Kalki Avatar. Of course, Jewish people are awaiting the Messiah. And of course, the Buddhists are awaiting the fifth Buddha, Maitreya Buddha. So, if you're a fundamentalist Christian, because I'm speaking to mainly people in the United States who are, it's mainly a Christian country per se, may be totally unaware of the fact that they aren't alone in waiting for a teacher to come back. So it's kind of cool. Now, what we're saying here on this channel, and what others like Benjamincreme and the Sharon National groups have been saying for well over 4 decades, is that the one awaited by all the world's religions is here. And he did exactly what he said he would do in the Bible. Came like a thief in the night in an hour when you least expected it. So, in fact, it was so quiet, so stealthily, that most people are unaware of the fact that he is even here. And guess what? He's already speaking on TV. We don't even have to wait for that. If we but knew it. Now, before I get ahead of myself, I do want to say, if you have any questions after hearing this information, simply post your question as a comment, like a lot of people do, or you can just put your comment up there, and if it's noteworthy and maybe something we can kind of talk about and kind of add to the discussion, well, then we'll talk about it and look at it, discuss it. Of course, hopefully more questions will come from that. Now, in the last video, I guess I did a pretty good job explaining everything. There's actually been no questions that have been posted, just some comments. And really, the comments are kind of relative to that video. I don't really think it's necessarily that important to elaborate on any of them at this moment in time. So this video is going to be a lot shorter than a lot of my other videos. All right. Now, before I read Benjamincreme's Master's article, which I think is really pertinent to what's going on today, I do want to kind of throw out my little social commentary about this week. Of course, we all know what happened on Tuesday, and now it's Thursday. Of course, we still know what's going on, right? Especially if you're living here in the United States. Surprisingly, my state of Georgia, which is usually not a battleground state, is a fiercely contested battleground state. And as of the recording of this video, there's really only about 10 to 13,000 votes separating those two, and they still got about 50 or 60,000 more votes to count. So who knows? Now, my social commentary is this. I've noticed at my job, when I go to the store, those kind of things, the gym, nobody's talking about this election. It's like there's this huge elephant in the room and nobody's willing to even look it in the eye. It's not there. If I turn my head, it's not there. And the other way I look at it is, and hopefully I'm wrong on this, is if you've ever lived through a tornado, you know that right before the tornado strikes, the air gets so eerily still. It's almost like it's scared to move. And then all of a sudden the tornado hits, right? So I wish I could say that I didn't think it was going to be like this, but I do think when an announcement is made, either way, it doesn't matter who ends up winning, that the shitstorm will begin. And, looking at it through the lens of this information, both of those, both Biden and Trump are really, and even the Senate races and so forth, they're really puppets to the corporations. Do you know what I mean? I don't think either of them really stand for change. And that's fine. And that's actually in line with what Maitreya has been talking about all along, because Maitreya has said that when it comes to change, when it comes to knowing what it needs, the people know what they need. The governments aren't listening. So the governments are really behind the curve when it comes to what really is needed for the people. And it will take the people stepping up and making their voices heard and demanding justice, demanding their own rights, demanding that their leaders listen to their needs and so forth. And this is on both sides. It's not just the left and it's not just the right. And right now, because the world is so divided, and I think that our world leaders have done a good job in dividing the people, that not a lot's going to get done, I think, until we see the necessity for change. And Maitreya is not having to start at zero and build that relationship, from now on, right? He's already started doing it for the last 10 years all around the world. So, I think in the very near future, we will see a teacher on TV, and by teacher I mean Maitreya, and we'll see somebody who's absolutely, utterly fearless when it comes to speaking to our world leaders. But he will have, and does have, humanity's best interest at heart, and there's no agenda. No corporate heads are buying his opinions and that kind of thing. So, but we'll have somebody that will speak for us, and then hopefully by him speaking out more and more and more, people will come in line, and people will say, "Yes, that's what I wanted all along. I want justice for everyone." Because here in the United States, the right side politically are fighting against the radical left. They think they're fighting for freedom. In reality, I guess the question is, are they really fighting for freedom? Are they fighting for something else? Stopping counting of votes is not, supporting freedom, right? That's one thing. Two, they're fighting for pro-life. But are they truly pro-life? If you're pro-life, you should be pro-life in everything. You should be pro-life in fighting, to end war. You should be fighting to end hunger. If you're pro-life, if you're truly pro-life, then you should be fighting for justice for everyone, not just for this country, not just for those elite in this country even, to have a smaller view of it, but for everyone on the planet. And if you're fighting for justice, you should be fighting for justice for all, So that's just my take on it. But anyway, hopefully we'll get through this as swimmingly as possible. If not, we're going to be hearing both sides bitch for a while. So anyway, now let's get on into Benjamin Creme's Master's article, and then we'll call it a day. All right, now this article is entitled "Welcome to the Feast." Now you might be saying, "Yeah, Gary, of course, right? Thanksgiving's just around the corner, so maybe the Master's giving us a great recipe for dressing or something like that, or a really good way to cook a turkey." No, that's not what he means. What he means is that moving forward, the people will demand from their governments justice. Remember, justice and freedom are one and the same. You can't have true freedom without true justice. And you can't have true freedom when other people's freedoms are inhibited. And you can't have true justice when you alone have what you need, but other people do not have justice. So hopefully that helps. All right, welcome to the feast. In recent years, a new phenomenon has emerged. Men have begun to demand of governments their right to freedom and self-determination. Until now, spasmodic attempts to ensure such God-given rights have indeed occurred, and historic revolutions record their perennial longing of men for their divine heritage as free sons of God. Today, however, a new and powerful impulse for freedom spreads across the world. Millions demand the basic right to regulate their lives and evolution. Governments now must take stock of this demand and accommodate their policies to this imperative. Few there are who can, with impunity, ignore the legitimate cry for justice and freedom which rises from the hearts of the beleaguered mankind. Needless to say, behind this cry for freedom stands Maitreya and his group. For long, they have they sought to stimulate this demand, awakening men to the necessity of individual freedom, without which the greatest achievements are as naught. Slowly but surely, men have responded to this higher call, and stand now all but united to make known their demands and to inherit their birthright as evolving sons of God. Soon, this cry will break upon the conscience of the world, and a new chapter will open on the evolution of the race. Maitreya will advocate, and millions will respond, that the time has come to recognize the rights of all men for a fair and just participation in world affairs, for a degree of freedom commensurate with natural justice, and for the institution of measures which will ensure the rights of all to the necessities of daily living. Inevitably, there will be resistance to this call for justice and freedom. Many there are who treasure these only for themselves. Nevertheless, the simple truth of these basic needs will dawn upon the world, and in gratitude men will turn to Maitreya for his guidance and succor. Thus will it be. Thus will the Son of Man guide anew the sons of men. Thus will men renew their covenant with the evolutionary plan and begin again their ascent to the highest. The time is now upon us when all must take their stand for or against all future progress on earth. That is the question which each one must face. The future calls you into freedom and justice and bids you welcome to the feast. Remember to take action and help SOP save our planet. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to talking to you again in future videos.